the Green Bay Packers, just as they did last year, struggled mightily in their opener, losing to the new look Vikings 23-7. The Minnesota Vikings offense was, I think it was Adam Thielen was asked about it after the game and talking about it. He's like, it was like nothing. And he played for Mike Zimmer before, of course. He just said we were just attacking. It's
nothing
a
you'd ever
different
seen
offense,
offensively.
and the defense was dominant too. They basically shut down the Packers for much of the game after losing 38-3 to New Orleans and Jacksonville last year. They lost 23-7 in this game. Rodgers 0 touchdowns, 2 turnovers, better passer rating than last year, but not great. And then after week 1, he certainly, in week 2, as I pointed out to Breach at the halftime show, they smoked the Detroit Lions in their home opener. They get the Bears in their home opener coming this week as 9.5-point favorites. It's not a stretch to suggest that they will roll the Bears. But as Breach pointed out, Ryan, there's no Devontae Adams, and that does appear to matter in the early going of this season for this Packers offense.
Yeah, you know what the Cowboys and Packers have in common? No receivers for their franchise quarterbacks to throw the ball to, and it showed up consistently in both those games. And what it looked like,
Aaron Rodgers' first pass was a perfect throw to a wide open Christian Watson, who is scoring a touchdown if he simply makes a catch that most NFL caliber receivers.
Christian Watson thought he was catching a beach ball, and the football went right through his arms.
I would have kept running and would not have stopped until
after the game. Christian Watson said he catches that ball 99 out of 100 times, and that he would have said he catches it 100 out of 100 times, but he can't because he dropped that one.
Yeah. Well, what are the chances? 100% that he dropped that one. So yeah, not great. Again, rookie, whatever. I get it. And look, there's something to be said for why did Devontae Adams leave? And he knew that Aaron Rodgers was coming back when he decided to consummate that trade to the Raiders, number one. And number two, how good is it for these young players that Aaron Rodgers is making stupid faces on the sidelines and ranting and raving and acting like an idiot because things aren't going his way? We don't give Tom Brady a hard time for doing that, even though he does do it, but a lot of quarterbacks don't do it. They find other ways to sort of, assuage the concerns of young players on that team. Does that matter? I don't know, but it certainly wasn't a good look. All I know is, Breach, I drafted the Vikings on my Super Bowl list, and I can't feel any better about it because Kirk Cousins, this was a time where they were up 20-7, and typically we'd go, okay, the Packers are going to win this game by 3 touchdowns. I didn't feel that way watching this football game, which is a complete 180 for anything that involves Kirk Cousins and or Mike Zimmer coaching football or throwing footballs.
Well, Wilson,
FYI, I, like an idiot, drafted the Colts and the Saints ahead of the Vikings.
Yes.
But right before the Vikings pick, do you know who Breach took?
I hope it was the Bengals.
Oh, no. It's even better.
Who?
The Cowboys.
What is happening here?
Oh, no, that hurts.
But, Wilson, as someone who drafted the Vikings, I noticed that only one person on the podcast actually picked them to win today. I won't mention names, but it rhymes with Ron Reach.
Did you guess, or what? What was your thinking there?
Bon Reach?
Because of this, the Vikings are a better team. I honestly think that Minnesota is a better all-around team. That's it. I just think I think the Packers, we don't know how long it's going to take for them to figure out how to run that offense without Devontae Adams. It might be figured out by week 2 against the Bears. It might take them 3 or 4 weeks. And so you're talking about an experienced Vikings team that lost all those games by 1 score last year because they had not so great coaching. And then now you have Kirk Cousins with a coach who actually likes him and an offensive-minded coach, which Cousins hasn't had. He just had Zimmer, who hated his guts. And I can't imagine how hard it is to play quarterback when your coach doesn't like you. And we've seen the fruits of the labor already. I think the Vikings are going to be good. You should feel good about your Super Bowl pick. Like Justin Jefferson. You can't cover Justin Jefferson.
Look, Justin Jefferson is a freak of nature. He was running wide open. Jair Alexander, I think, kind of threw some shade at the coaching staff for the game plan, insinuating that maybe he should have been a little bit, more locked into, to just being all over Justin Jefferson. Jefferson finished the day with, I believe, 184 receiving yards on 9 catches with 11 targets, 2 touchdowns. And I do agree. People in the chat were pointing out if Christian Watson makes that catch, we do view this game in a different lens.
What about Michael Fleur saying that this is the second straight year in week 1 the team's come out unprepared? What do you say to that?
Not great. Not great. Debo
who
puts
thought
out
of that?
Packers are plus 115 to win the division. Vikings plus 140. If you had to bet, what would you bet right now?
Well, of course, I'm taking the Vikings. I took the Packers last week to win the division, but given the way these two teams played, also you have to understand, and we just talked about this, week one, the Packers typically don't feel like showing up, it seems like, and Aaron Rodgers gets angry and then goes off. I do find it off-putting, and maybe I'm just not a huge Aaron Rodgers fan. I find it off-putting that he sort of mails it in.
Did you see his Sunday conversation with Caleb Presley before the?
No, what did he say?
It's pretty funny. It's like there's another. It's like a Barstool thing. There's like one guy eats a Sunday. It's like basically what's happening right now. There's a third guy who's just eating ice cream while they have a Sunday conversation.
Oh,
But he's like, he just asked him like weird. It was just weird stuff. It was kind of funny. But yeah, I mean, look, I thought the Vikings look great. Good performance. Offense looks a lot more explosive. Looks a lot more aggressive. They, you didn't feel like they were going to try and just run out the clock. They wanted to try to keep playing to keep winning. And I'm not pushing the panic button on the Packers yet. We saw them have a terrible game.
They're fine.
Yeah, they had a terrible game in week one last year and then bounced back very quickly. And Rodgers won MVP. He'll get locked in. It was a bad spot. And look, the Vikings have if the Vikings can stay healthy on defense, it does feel like they can be a very good chance to challenge for the division and to like a very likely playoff team and a pretty watered down NFC because that defense did. I mean, you saw was it Zadarius Smith was a maniac out there, right? I mean, like he had he had a sack. Yeah, he had one sack, but he had like Rodgers tried to block him and he shoved him down, and then there was like the funny little interaction where he's like yelled at Rodgers, and he told Greg. Was that the Greg Olsen game? Yeah, it was the Greg Olsen Kevin Burkhardt game, and they pointed out that he had mentioned specifically that people in Green Bay felt like they treated him poorly when he realized he was going to be out, and so he targeted the Vikings as a place he wanted to go. This is a huge game for Kevin O'Connell, huge game for a lot of guys in terms of revenge, getting after Green Bay, and they did a great job. Yeah. Well, but I'm not. I don't think this is like completely altered. The pecking order of the NFC North. I still think the Packers should be favored, and I would probably be inclined.
Well, I think it depends on how long it takes these young wide receivers to get up to speed and how much patience Aaron Rodgers has with them.
Worth noting, the Vikings use a ton of 11 personnel. I think it was at one point in the third quarter, and it's probably the number probably came way down because they were running the ball more to close out, but it was like 75%. A graphic on Fox had said that it was like 47.5% the entirety of last year, which was 29th in the NFL. And also, I thought that, what I had said, I thought would happen with the Green Bay offense sort of mostly came true. Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon were out there at the same time for a large portion of the snaps. And it feels like that's something that's probably going to have to continue. Robert Tonyan, I thought, looked pretty good. He had 3 catches for 36 yards. I mean, nobody had great numbers, but A.J. Dillon, the leading receiver for the Packers. That's not a great sign.
No, it's not.
Not at all.
Okay. Let's move on. Oh, winner and loser. Justin Jefferson, winner. Loser, Aaron Rodgers.
Done.
Checks out.
Kevin O'Connell.
Kevin O'Connell, winner for sure. Devontae Adams, a winner. At one point, like I think in the third quarter, maybe late second quarter, he had Devontae Adams had more yards than the Packers.
That's very easy to believe, having seen both games.